And we're live this month. Since we've moved in, like, so much has happened, so much we've been able to actually progress on. And what I want to do in this video is share on those things that have been like really working for me, really working for us. And last night we were hanging out and just reflecting on, wow, like, what are these things that are working for us? Like, we've been here for about a month. It's almost getting insane on actually how much has been accomplished, whether if it's like health, business, connection, community, even coming into a new place. And our first 2 weeks were really like clunky. We were coming into a new place, and what I learned in going through different modalities of like therapy and lessons is when you're moving, especially into a new place, like, there's so much friction that's happening. Like, you don't even know like where to get your coffee, where the things are, how are things working in the home. Like, your unconscious mind is completely just unraveled because there's no more automatic programming on where you need to go and it knowing it, right? You know how you can drive to work in some places and go walk to the coffee shop and you're almost like in this unconscious programming. Like, all of a sudden nothing is in its unconscious programming because so much new things need to be learned. It's literally just like thrown at you. And like, one thing I appreciate about like my housemate here is he hates friction as much as I do. He just wants to have a shit ton of time freedom, a lot of mental freedom, to be able to do what he loves as much as possible, to enjoy the job, to always be creating up free time and mental energy to do it. And we both noticed in the first 2 weeks, like, we even questioned, like, well, is this even the right move? Is this the right home? But it's just the body and the mind creating all this friction. And then boom, and came week 2 and week 3 and week 4. And we're just like, holy shit, we got momentum. And that's what we're really feeling last night. So it was really the last 1 to 2 weeks where so much is picked up for us as individuals, as well as like teammates, and everything that's been accomplished and what's been there. And I want to reflect on things at least that have been working for me and what can I do to actually share that, because I firmly believe that we're here to have as much time as possible and presence as possible to do what you love, like with the people that you love. And if there's one common denominator that we both dove into, was mastering our health, especially the mental health, especially the mental side of, let's go in and clear out the weeds. Let's go in and get clear of the things that aren't working. I think both of us have had maybe 2 to 4 different therapies and or modalities to work with us. We both started working with one guy who was mind-blowing last week in the area of neuro-linguistic reprogramming, which goes right into your unconscious mind to rewire those things. We both went to Abraham Hicks before. We manifested a cruise with her. We're going to be with her for 10 days. We just manifested like some love burn tickets. And what we've noticed is not just going in to clear up the stuff that we have in our minds. And it's so obvious that our reality is a direct reflection of our belief system. Every book I'm reading is coming back to that, from Abraham Hicks to the Think and Grow Rich, like that Think and Grow Rich book, who screened 500 of the most wealthiest people and found their common denominators. And their number one thing was, you better realize that in your mind that there's a vibrational frequency that's happening. And when you're inside of that, that when that is actually happening, that not only will you start to actually grab like a much bigger momentum with things that are happening, it's also the universe will start to conspire to make things happening. And that's one thing that we noticed. It's like, okay, now that we're out, now that we're moving, now that we got momentum, notice the people that are showing up. Notice the people who are matching up in that. Whether if it was like the Daybreaker event that we went to the other day on the beach, the dates that we're getting, like talking to, potential dates, partnerships, not only just in romance, but also in business, where a lot of them are talking about mindset. They're caring about growing. They're caring about the work that they do on their body. They're caring about the work that they do on their mind, and just noticing that those people are actually like wrapping around us. It's almost like we don't need to go look for it anymore. And including with business, like those opportunities, the type of people that we want to work for was there. But hands down, we've been investing a lot of money and time into our own mindset so that we can have other people who are really good at shining back the things, especially the things that aren't working. And a takeaway I had, how important it is to surround your people with you who are honest about the things that aren't working. A lot of people give you fucking fluff. A lot of people won't tell you the things that aren't working. A lot of the people won't tell you the things that aren't like showing up. And I think that's just a commonality in this world. Like 95 to 98% of people aren't going to tell you what you're actually thinking and feeling. And I've also had the benefit, like in this friendship and other work partners and things there, where it's giving honest feedback to say, hey, I hear your words. Your words are your direct reflection of your belief system. And also here's your actions. You mind me giving a reflection back for those things that actually aren't working for you? Like those are the best relationships to be in. And what I'm also appreciating is just people who are in supportive relationships who actually do care about like their mind and the body and the support system, just their relative focus in nature on the fact that they can see the beauty in life and they focus on those things. Because I've been around people who like you can be doing something amazing for them for like a fucking week, and all they do is they come back and they see these little like nitpicky things that aren't working for them. And they're the same fucking people who go out and whine and complain and have breakdowns and go talk to other people about it. And then they're like victims where they take some public message or they take things and they assign meanings and they put all this emotion to it and they come back and project their bullshit on you. But when you really focus on people who take responsibility for their own meaning and their own support, and they get the beauty in the world and they get that responsibility, you align with them. It's insane how much faster you can go, because the other big lesson is also when you're aligning yourself with those right people, the right people will greatly accelerate where you're going to go. The wrong people won't. You know, the right people have responsibility. The wrong people have blame. You know, the right people can actually be self-aware and have that ability to grow and start to see themselves. For the wrong people, victims. They're the people say, you made me feel. Like, unless you're being negligent or cruel, like most of this stuff, these people are like, you made me feel this and this, that. They're just walking around like fucking victims, right? Like, you're doing this, you're doing that. But another lesson is I learned it great from Abraham Hicks was, how often are we going in the world where the Republican wants to change the Democrat or vice versa, or this person wants to change that? Like, literally, the worst thing that we could do is go around and try to adhere or be ways that's going to adhere to how other people want us to be, right? Most of us aren't walking around with any bad intentions, like wanting to hurt anybody, but it is be so exhausting if you just actually stop caring. Like, I can listen to people and be like, cool, I hear you. And I'm actually like, I'll walk away. I'm like, well, I really don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care about me trying to adhere to you to like make you happy. Like, that would be so exhausting. And to also love them, to be like, well, okay, they're coming from that place. I see them, I hear them. Like, it's so easy. And to be around people where it's easy, where they make requests and they know how to communicate, not from a place of drama, like, it's super powerful. But to let go of that energy of like trying to change anyone for the sake of like them adhering into your belief system and how things are going to be, like, that's exhausting. Like, you wishing other people would be their way, and the reverse of that, to where screw trying to be what everyone else wants you to be, and just go do what you're going to do and go being that. But that relationship and that mindset and that body. And the other thing too is we're really radical about our physical health. Not perfectly. I don't want to be a machine. I don't want to be AI, but we're both very good at getting really in tune with our bodies. The Oura Ring, and there's been one other thing, has given us great feedback on our sleep, diet, and exercise. Gary Brecka has been huge for me. Joe Dispenza has been huge for me. Abraham Hicks has been huge for me. And the amount of energy that we're getting and the amount of clarity that's happening in our mind and in our body is getting pretty insane. Like, the level of clarity and emotional well-being and the energy has been a radical shift on how much more positive emotions we're actually feeling in a day. And then our resilience. Like, once we go down, we almost know when we're going down. We almost know when we start to get in our shit. And our goal is to be able to bounce back really fast with that. And that's getting really powerful. So the takeaways are the deep investment into the mindset, especially of the things that are really working. Like, I believe in mindfulness. I believe in meditation. You know, I believe in therapy. But in my experience, getting people who are really good at neuro-linguistic programming, getting people who are really good at the hypnotist, breath work was really good for me, like, to really move through some things. I've been doing some cognitive behavioral therapy for a while, and it's starting to turn into armchair like therapy, it's really good, but you shouldn't need to be talking about the same things over and over again. Like there's actual visceral changes that are happening inside the body that you can feel. And if that's another common denominator that I've noticed across all the books, from the Think and Grow Rich to the Abraham Hicks to the Joe Dispenza to the anyone, it's like emotion is the motion for it. So if you are acting from a place when you aren't feeling it, the level of drag and friction that you have is huge. The practice that I've learned to be able to sit with myself, sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 50 minutes, sometimes I can't get there. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'm moving forward. But to actually sit with these things until you actually feel it on the inside, not only to where the point where I started to feel the actual chemicals change, where it's the actual like motivation, it's the actual drive to make it forward. And when you're getting on that vibe, and it's such a spiritual woo word, but I heard even Oprah speak into that recently, which was, she's like, yeah, man, the vibe. She goes, whatever it takes for you to get there in the morning with your mind and your exercise, just to be in that frequency. But to actually be able to get to that place where you're actually feeling it, that's one thing that all the common denominators say, get there. And to spend that time in the morning, because we go back to this homeostasis, to actually get there to that place, it's worth that like 1 to 2 hours. Sometimes I can get there in 15 minutes. Some days I don't need it. I'm still a human. Some days I wake up feeling like a 2 out of 10 and I'm like, well, fuck it. My only thing is I'm going to go very slow. I'm going to be very moving. And that's another takeaway I had too, is I had a lot of people just tell me to slow down. Sometimes my desire for efficiency and productivity, and to get a lot more done in a fraction of the time so I don't have to be doing things. The yang of it is, when I've been able to slow down and be more intentional with what's actually happening, to be clear on the intention, it's almost like the theory behind the special forces of smooth is fast. Just go very smooth, go very slow, and having that intention and that action behind it really starts to pick up the speed and, more importantly, the results of what it's looking for. Some days when I'm really low in it, if I'm feeling really low with the emotions or the well-being, I'll just start writing out the list, but I'll be super slow. I'll be like, cool, what do I got to do in the next 10 to 15 minutes? I'm just going to do this, and this. But it's all these combinations of the investment into the mental, knowing the body, and then getting so clear on like who we want to surround ourselves with, knowing that's like such an acceleration there. We can feel the momentum picking up, and we're just sitting around, we're like, holy shit, look what we've done in the last 2 weeks. What are we going to do to take this to this next level? And I think what's awesome about that is like riding a bike. Like, you know, we're in our Indy car. We're like, I think we got first or second gear going. What do we need to go to third or fourth? And all of a sudden you can pick up almost 5 to 10x the momentum because you're already in momentum. It's like, cool, you already got the motorcycle going. You already got the bicycle going. It's much easier to drop that into the next gear rather than getting that to go from the start. And that's where we feel that like we're doing. One of my blessings too, it's like when we get into this creative mode and we have all these ideas come out, that's where I think that knowing how to run the art of stress-free productivity is very simple. Knowing how to get out of the head into simple systems where you can see everything and you drive it from there, whether you're one person, 5, 10, or 50, and you can just drive that forward. And just having a system, like a time management system or a systems and processes system, a business operations system, no matter what you want to call it, in total fucking control. And you can grab all those ideas as an individual, as a team, and you can just move them forward with such like a well-oiled machine. And if you don't have that, I think like 85 to 90% of people don't have that, where it's very simple. It's like, hey, show me your entire time management system of how you're managing all your calendar system, your projects and tasks, the recurring nature of your life. What about the millions of inboxes coming at you and all those messages? Where are the ideas when you have them? And how are you even managing it all across your tasks, recurring projects, goals, visions, and purpose? And how can you even see all that and keep control of it and have that balance? Because otherwise, life's owning you, right? Are you owning life, or is life owning you? And that's what we're noticed now that we are actually in the driver's seat, and we have an awesome system, and we also have the right mindset, and we have the right like team that's moving behind it. The acceleration's powerful and it's awesome. So invest into yourself for those right things. Your mind, always be spending money every other week or every other month into people who are great at catching you into your mind and your body and being around the right people and having the right system to all drive it forward. Super powerful. If you have any questions, happy to answer everything. Happy to do videos on it. Happy to bring anyone on for a video. Rather than paying that 500 to 1,000 or more bucks per hour, or even giving up personal equity or percentages inside the company, just ask so that we can support in giving that value forward. Because I just believe that our time is our most precious asset on this earth. And we're here to have as much of that to be doing what you love with the people that you love with complete presence, right? You're not here to go work Monday to Friday, 50 hours at these specific times and only having these specific times off and thinking that like four weeks off is a good thing. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. Like, you deserve time freedom. You deserve time flexibility, even from the things of your health when you need to go check in with the doctors, to the people, to your friends, with yourself, the vacations, the needs in life, like as it adapts. I'm a firm believer we all get to have a lot more of that. Let me know any questions, comments, and happy to follow up with those.